right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are tackling the Kings Speedway here in Hanford, California with the KWS 410 sprint cars. What's interesting about tonight, it's a normal show except they're running two features. It's their annual twin feature night, so two 20-lap races, both paying $3,000 to win. We're going to have a lot of cars in the pit area, and we're going to be getting our night underway in just a little bit. Real quickly though, we'll take a look at the track. You can see the water truck over there. Here's a little closer look at the racetrack. So to give a little more information on tonight's race, it's the tribute to Maury Williams. You know, Maury Williams was a famous car owner here in the state of California. They still actually field a car, that family, to this day. It's the famous White Zero. I remember watching that car years ago at the Southern Oregon Speedway. Like, it's just been around forever, like way back into the day. And now Maury Williams unfortunately has passed, so we have the tribute race for him, which is a twin 20-lap race. Basically, we're gonna do a normal night. Everything's gonna be completely straight up. We're gonna run a feature. We're gonna run 20 laps. At the end of that 20 laps, they're gonna throw a checkered flag, race is over, and then they're gonna invert the field, all the cars that are on the lead lap. So if there's 12 cars on the lead lap, 18 cars, 16 cars, however many are on the lead lap, they're gonna flip us and run 20 more. Both races pay the same, and there's an overall points champion that gets a little bit of extra money that ran best between both races. So technically, you wanna win one of the features, and you want to have accumulated the most points, you get a little bit of extra money, and that is how tonight is gonna go. So it's this is always kind of an interesting race because, you know, maybe one of the normal guys wins the first one, but the second one, you know, it can be a handful of guys. If you start in the back, if you don't run well early on in the night, you have a shot to win that next one. And so, and 20 laps also isn't a terribly long race, so it takes guys a long ways to get from the back to the front in that second one. Anyway, it's just kind of a cool deal, and I like how they mix it up. So like I mentioned, our night will begin here in a little bit. We have a lot of laps ahead of us this evening and a lot of opportunities to work on our race car and just really, you know, keep perfecting our package with the 18T. So it's going to be a good night here in Hanford with our 410. As we get things fired up, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's show, DZ. So DZ was founded in 1977, and in my humble opinion, they are a perfect example of the American dream. They started super small manufacturing truck accessories, and now almost 50 years later, they have an empire where they send products across the globe. So if you have a truck or a vehicle and you're looking to customize it for your lifestyle, you want to make it personal to you, they have just about everything. Side steps, roof rails, toolboxes, transfer tanks, and the list goes on. So head on over to dz.com. I put a link at the top of the description. Also on their site, they have a dealer locator tab, which will show you a local business in your area that carries DZ products, and you can go see them for yourself. All right, time to get back into today's show. Okay, so we just wrapped up qualifying here at the Kings Speedway. We got a 24 car field and we ended up 14th quick. Gosh, I actually thought my lap was a little better than my time showed. I don't know, I just tried to run a consistent lap around the cushion. It was right on the ragged edge. One of probably the more gnarly qualifying sessions of this season. You had to run it really, really hard, and I needed to just get that much more out of my race car. My first lap and my second lap were almost identical. I got to the cushion, but I didn't get there fast enough, and I needed to just carry a little more speed on entry. And gosh, man, I feel like when I talk about maybe some of my weaknesses, probably a qualifying session like that would be, it's just so tricky. It's right there, and I actually thought my car felt okay. I just knew I was trying to get on the brake, kind of getting in, just keep the car loaded and get to the cushion, get my wheels spinning, and like I said, I just didn't get to it fast enough. Felt like I got off the corner well and through the center, but I just lost that on entry, and basically a whole tenth or a tenth and a half puts us almost into the top top 5, top 3. That's how close everyone was all the way through the 24 car field. Everyone was just literally right there. So that's going to put us now in a heat race. We're going to be starting more towards the back. It's straight up, so every car we pass will help us in the first day main event and where we're going to start, and all we can try to do is move forward, and the top 2 will advance to tonight's dash. So if we can have a good heat race and move forward, we still got a shot at starting up front. So we started 5th there in that heat race, was going to run probably 5th until a car lost a tire in front of us on the last lap, so we ended up finishing 4th. That's now going to line us up 11th in the A main event here for this first 20 lapper. The pace was just so fast there. Their rework on the track obviously added a lot of grip. 1 and 2 you could run a couple different lanes. 3 and 4 was more dominant around the top because the bottom's like not even really worked in. It's still kind of greasy, and I gotta be able to run a better pace. And it's hard once you're behind these guys and the pace is that fast. Just trying to pass, you know, makes it much more difficult. Hopefully it slows down here a little bit before this first feature, and I'm sure the second one will be even slower. So our main goal is try to pass as many cars as we can here, and then get ready for the second 20 lapper. We got 40 laps total ahead of us, and we're going to try to make some changes. The hard part is you're not able to change tires, which I mean is a good thing, don't get me wrong. So you kind of have to be set up, at least you have to have an idea of what stagger you want maybe at the end of it, and you might have to be a little snug in that first race and maybe compensate, and then you have a 10 minutes in between the races to make adjustments. You just can't change a tire, so you can do anything under the sun except change a tire. So what we're putting on now for rubber is what we're going to have for both. But anyway, we're starting mid-pack. Obviously we wish we were starting a little closer to the front, but all we can do now is what we can do, and all we can do now is what we can do, and like I said, try to put ourselves in position to just have 2 consistent runs and try to win one of them. So right away when my car finally set back down on the racetrack, I knew something was broke. It was kind of obvious how it was sitting, how it felt in the cockpit. The right rear was really low and it was leaning on that corner. So it felt like maybe it was a rear arm that was broke, or a torsion stop, or a torsion bar, just something was not right. So my goal was to get to the work area. So of course it was all hands on deck. The second I got to where my mule was parked, everybody jumped in. We also got a little bit of extra time because there was a lot of cars involved in that incident. Unfortunately though, the damage was too excessive for us to return for this first 20 lapper. So we were just trying to see if it was possible for us to get it fixed for the next 20. And in the heat of the moment, this is a tough job. You're trying to examine exactly what is wrong. You're trying to see that in the darkness and do the job correctly so we could actually get back out there and not put our equipment at risk again. But luckily, basically, they went back green. We had a couple yellows, so we had plenty of time. Probably took about 10, 15, almost 20 minutes, and we got the car repaired so we could get back out there and try to put just something together for the second A main event. So the end of my race nights just get more and more chaotic. And tonight was just chaotic in general, but we had to go get the merch trailer, had to get everything loaded. We're gonna hit the road in like 3 or 4 hours, and we gotta drive all the way back to Southern Oregon. Not necessarily the main event we were looking for. We kind of made changes going into it, and we made it not even 1 lap. We made it half a lap. A couple cars got together on the back stretch. We were kind of just in the wrong spot at the wrong time. There's nothing I necessarily would have done different. A couple cars spun down the track, or they all got kind of together. Like I said, I was just there. I went over the car on my outside's left front. Like usually I would just be okay in that situation. Maybe it would knock out their front axle, but this time it like launched me. Like basically my right rear went over their left front. I went up in the air, and for a second I'm like, oh boy, this might hurt. And then I came down, not how you want to come down, you know, in a kind of a spot where sometimes like that's where you see guys get problems with their back. Just landed hard on the rear tires, and it twisted. Like my torsion bar knocked my Jacob's ladder out. Like I had all sorts of problems in my rear, and when I just came down, it broke some stuff, and that's why we weren't able to get back out. We spent, you know, 15-20 minutes just trying to get the thing pieced back together. So thanks to everyone that pitched in. Not an easy job to fix, especially when we're trying to get all the right parts and pieces, and like I said, so many guys, you know, putting a hand in just to try to get it done. So that sucked, and it basically took us out of any chance of having 2 good features, and didn't get to run the first, and then, you know, just tagged the back of the second, was hoping that everything was going to be okay, and kind of put together a little bit of a charge, probably passed 10 or 11 cars and finished 8th. So not like pumped over the moon, but glad that we did pass some cars. I felt like I was pretty good in the second feature, so that makes me happy. But it sucks that like I just don't really have anything to show for, you know, how we got my car better throughout the night. The racetrack got racier, and so that's frustrating. But that was our Maury Williams Twin 20 night. We only got to run 1 of the 20, but we at least kind of made the most of our situation. So we're in the shop, and if this kind of shows you guys how hard we came down, if you can tell, those splines are not in a straight line. Carly, try to get the just.
Well, we started to pry it, so that's why it's not going either back, or now it's not going forward. But anyways, the splines are toast.
Also on the impact, you can see where the shock mounts right into the frame, and then this is the rear arm, which we took off, and you can see how it broke right there. Literally just twisted the torsion bar. That's the Jacob's ladder right there. Like Carly just said, I think the straps might be okay. They look all right. They're kind of straight. It's all greasy though. Yeah, killed the ladder. Nerf bar was in the right rear tire. All sorts of fun stuff. But our little incident, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say little incident. It was like a good little, like I wasn't going big, even though in the car it felt like I might be going big. It just slammed so hard. So I wanted to show you guys that before we end today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate your support. I hate how things went yesterday. I'm glad that we at least finished in the top 10 in the second feature, but I felt like, honestly, with how we kind of ran and with the circumstances, like we probably could have been on the podium, if not competing for a win, especially if we would have just finished the first one and started up front. We would have had clean air and all that. So just kind of disappointing that we didn't get to take advantage of that. Like I say though, as racers, we are never satisfied with anything but winning. So thank you all. We got some stuff to add to our scrap pile, but we're gonna get the 18T all fixed up, and we just have one more weekend of racing at the Trophy Cup to finish off our season. But stay tuned for more content throughout the rest of 2024. Like I said, we are going to finish strong. Deuces.